And so we're going to quickly do that, and we have a bunch of user questions. So lineup. Lots of chatter regarding if Czech should have started in goal. Now the 90 minutes is over. I don't think Leno does better to save any of those goals. I think Czech was the okay decision. I think that he played very well. He kept us in the match at certain points. There's, questions of could Leno have gotten to Giroud's header quicker? Who knows? But at the end of the day, it wasn't a 1-0 match. You could see the tear in his eye that, was that more because his career was over, or was it because we lost the match? Who knows? But I don't think that had the big impact that most people thought it would.
No, I mean, on the pitch, starting Czech was not particularly impactful, and frankly, in the first half, he was outstanding. He had some chances that he had to lay out for, and he did. The problem is, I'm not going to go and blame him for losing the game. I'm not going to even blame him for any of the goals specifically. He's never going to save a penalty unless I'm physically in the Emirates to watch it against Watford. The fourth goal, I mean, there's nothing he could have done about that. I mean, what I'm thankful for, just for sanity's sake, is that he didn't do anything stupid like fumble with the ball at his feet in the first half, because we passed it back to him like 294 times.
Yeah.
Flap at the ball and miss and lead to a goal. I mean, because if he did that, then we'd be sitting here hearing about conspiracy theories and obnoxious bullshit that's even worse than what we're dealing with right now. So I still don't think he should have played, because, the subconscious, the message, everything. But, I don't think, as it turned out, that he cost us the game. We had nothing to gain from playing him and everything to lose.
Yep.
And ultimately, he just ended up neutral. Respectfulness and consistency are nice qualities to have if you're a fucking insurance agent. But, we have no cutthroat nature from the top on down, and that is what leads to a decision like Petr Cech playing in that game.
Yeah. As the Arsenal podcast wrote, I don't think Leno would have done better. I think Leno would have done better for the first goal, but we didn't help Czech Wednesday was the outfield player, balls watching, basically not defending. And we'll get into all that. But yeah, I mean, there wasn't a moment in the game where you thought, oh, fuck, Czech's fucked this up for us. So, we started off well. Let's jump to that penalty decision, Mike. I don't personally subscribe to the idea that contact in the box is a penalty. I think a while ago we had a huge debate on this pod with Bellerin kicking, I forget who in the foot. I think it was someone on Liverpool and then going down. But anyway, I don't think Kepa impeded him scoring a goal. So I don't think it personally was a penalty. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm actually happy to hear you say that, in the sense that I'm the only person in our pub that I talked to. Maybe Rob agreed with me, I'm not sure, but the only person in the pub who was saying the same thing. I mean, I try not to be too impartial when it comes to stuff like that, because, when the shoe's on the other foot, I would have been absolutely livid if they called that a penalty against us, if the teams were switched, because Lacazette, I think he goes down a little too easily. Whether he was off balance or not would contribute to that. But given the amount of pressure that was put on him physically by Kepa from an actual touching perspective, he could have probably stayed up, and he kind of went down looking for the call, I think.
Plus, I don't think VAR overturned it, because I think the ball's too far away from him.
I don't think it would have run out of bounds. I don't think it was an obvious ability for him to just finish it had he been able to not been impeded. And I don't really think he was that impeded. I think you never would have seen that called a foul correctly on the regular pitch, on the rest of the pitch. It would have just, because there can be contact. And again, isn't it supposed to be, if it's a foul anywhere on the pitch, it's a foul in the penalty box? Well, the same is true in reverse. So, I was okay with not getting the call there. You know what I wasn't okay with? Sucking ass completely for the rest of the game after that. That I wasn't cool with.
Yeah, I mean, the first 30 minutes we were in control, which I want to say lightly, as we didn't really attack their goal with gusto. I mean, I don't think we challenged Kepa outside of one save. I mean, Xhaka's shot, which I think Kepa had covered, but it was just bland. Yeah, it was just bland football. I mean, we never got rhythm. Our play out wide started off wonderfully with Kolasinac and Maitland-Niles making great runs. The crosses were fucking terrible. But we were attacking, and then Chelsea kind of figured it out. They saw that what we were doing, and they kind of last 10 minutes got into a rhythm. And halftime, I think, came for us at the perfect time because it didn't allow Chelsea to pepper the goal very much. But they started off halftime as other teams have done to us many, many a time this season. And, yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like we were watching the same game this time. Yeah, it's funny how that happens. But I may be the only Gooner who rates Kolasinac as a crosser of the ball. It's really not because he's that good at crossing the ball. It's because he gets into such dangerous positions that his margin of error for crossing is improved because, defense is stretching to try to cover the different options that he can do. So, but he was awful on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I mean, he was constantly a second too late, a touch too many. He got the angles of the cutbacks wrong. Mainsley, had a few opportunities that he left too close to the keeper instead of cutting it back. I mean, it just wasn't on. And it wasn't that we weren't getting into dangerous positions in the first half. We just, we weren't connecting the dots and playing the triangle game the way that we're capable of. And if I seem distracted, it's because Becca just called us daddies. So this is going on Pornhub.
Let's talk about Becca's future husband, Olivier.
So, yeah, it's a good time for her to come in.
A good segue. Halftime couldn't come soon enough for us, but it looked like Chelsea left the locker rooms at halftime with kind of an idea and a boost of what to do. They took momentum. They got a very early goal with Giroud, who's we've seen score that type of goal 100 times for us. I don't know how many goals he scored, so clearly it wasn't 100, but we've seen him do that quite a lot. For me, Mike, Koscielny should know that he's the type of player who's capable of doing that because he plays with him for two teams, both with Arsenal and France. But I thought Koscielny looked to have pulled his boot out of the tackle, and honestly, he should have just smashed his fucking face to have made sure that ball did not get put on target. Because at the end of the day, Giroud lowers his head to play the ball, and
he didn't do it it literally was the end of the day. It was like midnight in
Baku. There's no reason to pull out of that challenge. There is absolutely no reason to put out of that challenge, and he should have fucking cleared that ball and his face out of the stadium. And it looked to me like he pulled back.
I haven't watched it a bunch of times. I don't make a habit out of going back and watching the game and looking at YouTube highlights when it's a soul-crushing loss. So, I mean, I obviously remember the goal. I don't know whether Koscielny was there in time to do that or whether he was just arriving a second too late to do that. But, why he doesn't kick his face off is because 10,000 women, including Becca, though she's starting to have her doubts, would have stormed the pitch with knives and baguettes and shit and started beating him over the head. Because if Giroud's face comes off, there's no more masturbating properly during a football match. I mean, you just can't do it anymore. So I don't think anyone on the pitch, save for maybe Liechtensteiner, who isn't going to be our team this time tomorrow, has the balls to challenge somebody's head like that. I mean, we're just too nice. And so I never thought that was going to be happening. Postscript to all that.
I could see Xhaka kicking someone's face off if it's necessary.
Yeah, I mean, what you say about Giroud, though, just last word on Giroud, and then I hope we never have to talk about this guy again. You mentioned that he scores some worldies like this. I mean, he's limited as a player in many respects, but not when it comes to finishing, especially with his head. That particular type of goal, which like you said, we've seen him score it a million times. How many strikers total in world football today you think score that goal? I can think of maybe 2 or 3 that I think could regularly put that in the net the way that he did.
Yeah, there's not many, Mike. It's a good question. I think that
again, Lewandowski could do it. Ibra probably could still do it, even at his age.
You see Aguero sneaking goals like that. It's so fucking hard. I mean, it's a quality goal. You can't take that away from him. But I think it can be avoided by just smashing his fucking face in.
Well, that's the difference between you and me. You like to decapitate. I like to do other things that end in 8.
Yeah, well, after that video on the bus, he can fucking burn in hell. So
I don't know what people are expecting him to do. I mean, it was classless, but look, if you expect him to have class in that situation and some sort of loyalty to Arsenal still at this point, then you need to
Yeah,
just.
but as Becca said, like, you should. I get that he was excited. Who wouldn't be? But to thank Arsenal sarcastically after they fucking built you as a player, as they put you
He's
on
trying
the
to
map.
ingratiate himself to his teammates that are his teammates now, not his teammates from 2 years ago and scorers from 2 years ago.
I totally get the sentiment of we sold him so we could get Aubameyang. I get that. He could be mad about that. But you had people singing your fucking name a few months before that at the Emirates. Show a little bit of class and respect. You fucking ass fuck of a French fuck. Anyway, so,
Tell us how you really feel.
Sorry, Mike, if you're Hernandez, if you're in the car with your daughter. So after Chelsea scored, I just didn't see us getting back into the game.
I see him like pulling over to the side, like slamming his radio. Like, I gotta crash the car to make the radio stop here.
He's just jamming the CD into the.
Daddy,
just play the CD.
Mommy, Daddy said something in the car. He was listening to ass fuck ass something.
They were saying something about Pornhub and steaks. I don't know, Daddy.
What does quid mean?
So I didn't see us getting back into the game after they scored. I don't know why. Their second goal came from a good passage of play where they caught us. Foul or not, we got to do better.
Foul.
I mean, look, Mike, Maitland-Niles puts in a stupid rash challenge for the penalty. With checking goal, why even bother? Just give them the goal. But their fourth again, we were shit. I mean, quick shout out to Iwobi for the finish on another day that steals the headlines around the globe. But just overall, we collapsed and we weren't ever in the match after halftime. And it was a dire performance.
It was, and I mean, at the time I was absolutely steaming about that non-foul call. When they took, I mean, I don't even remember who it was on, but they
there was one on Maitland-Niles, I think, for the fourth goal, and I want to say the second was maybe.
I'm talking.
Xhaka.
I'm talking. Chelsea fouled us at midfield.
Yeah,
won the ball back and directly went down, and I think won the penalty.
Yeah.
And, every single replay they showed after that goal was of the goal itself and not what started the run. So I didn't even get a chance to see it. And again, I don't go back and watch soul-crushing moments of soul-crushing losses. So, but it's hard to cry over that one thing when we just capitulated from that point on the way we did overall. And Iwobi's goal, I mean, that was shocking because it looked like he actually meant to do that.
Well, he usually puts those at the corner flag, and so to hit it through the laces. But you know, Iwobi scores this beautiful goal, and there's not a momentum tie because you're still down 3-1. But how many times, Mike, this season? And if you answer more than once, which you're going to, is the wrong answer. But how many times this season have we scored a goal to help with momentum, and then within 30 seconds we're pulling the ball out of our net because we are not paying attention and we're allowing them to score? Because that's essentially what happened.
Yeah.
You know. Oh.
That's they call that not good. Do something like that is the official football term. But I learned that when I was over in England. But yeah, not good at all. And Iwobi was, I mean, it was lucky that he scored because it gave all the Iwobi should have started instead of Ozil people all the ammunition they needed. And, you know, in hindsight on the day, I'm not saying I disagree with them on that. I'm just, you know, the Iwobi, the narrative just keeps going.
Shut the fuck up. 3-1, 3-12 Gooner. I know this is an Arsenal pod, but breaking news, Sarri is out at Chelsea, and it looks like he's the next Juve manager. I really was hoping that Pochettino would be.
I thought you were yelling at 3-12 Gooner. I'm like, no, dude's cool, man. Yeah. So he's officially out. Is that true?
Well, that's what 312 is saying, and you're saying he's cool. 80 unread notifications and Twitter? Jesus Christ.